today we got another Geography Now video. The last one was amazing. We got Indonesia. I don't really know much about Indonesia, so this is actually a perfect video for me. So yeah, let's jump straight into this one, man.
Everybody, so if you don't know anything about Indonesia, basically all you have to know is that it's kind of like the Hawaii of the Muslim world, but it's like huge. It's like the biggest state and with orangutans. And that's it. Just no punch.
That's pretty cool.
Go to the intro song.
Hey, that's it. We're done. They got orangutans inside the Hawaii, bro. So yeah, we're done.
Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbie. So as some of you know, I've been to Indonesia one time on one island for like 3 hours. I ate one dish, so basically I'm like the Indonesia expert, right? Well, if not, I'm kind of like the only guy on YouTube doing full profile videos like this. So for now, you'll just have to kind of deal with me for like the next 12 or so minutes. Woohoo! Default.
He's got a point.
Alright, so again, if you don't know anything about Indonesia, it's basically like if the Middle East and South Asia had an incredibly colorful, loud, somewhat explosive set of babies. Like thousands of them. Okay, that doesn't really help. First of all, Indonesia is the world's largest archipelago nation, located right where the Indian Ocean meets the Pacific Ocean on the incredibly clustered set of islands, making 6 countries known commonly as Nusantara, or the Malay Archipelago. Indonesian Archipelago. Sure, whatever makes you happy. Indonesia actually has land borders with 3 of these countries, East Timor, Papua New Guinea, and Malaysia, on the biggest island, Borneo.
Oh shit, Malaysia's there? Oh, wait, why did I think that... Oh, I'm being stupid. I thought Malaysia was like literally a part of Africa on Africa.
Which is one of the world's only 2 triple split nation islands, the other one being Cyprus. Although technically if you include the UN buffer zone, it's kind of like 4 entities, but the UN isn't a country, whatever, just watch the Cyprus episode. The country is divided into 34 provinces, 5 of which have special administrative statuses, with the capital and most populous city, Jakarta, located on Java, the world's most populous island with nearly half of the entire population of Indonesia in it. The largest cities after Jakarta are Surabaya and Bandung, both located on Java Island, and Medan, located on Sumatra.
Bro, I could never live on Java Island, man. You just always think of Java fucking scripting code.
Jakarta Soekarno Hatta International, Bali's Ngurah Rai International in Denpasar, and Surabaya's
Oh my god, these
Juanda
are some long...
Now here's where things get a little speculative.
These are some long-ass names.
There are still arguments claimed as to exactly how many islands Indonesia has. The National Coordinating Agency for Surveying and Mapping says Indonesia has about 13,500. The National Institute of Aeronautics and Space Agency says that it has about 18,300, whereas the Indonesian government claims about 17,500. But wherever the point is, there's a lot of them. Over 8,800.
Oh, right. Is it actually... Wait, so you know when it's kind of like 8... Wait, there's 8,800 named? Whatever, let's say there's 8,800. That's a lot of fucking islands. Is it counting like these tiny ones here? So like, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... You know what I mean?
Have names, and over 900 of them are permanently inhabited. You would think they are the country with the most islands, but surprisingly, Finland and Canada beat them. But a lot of their islands are kind of like boop-a-doop, little islands in the lakes. So does it really count?
Cheating.
I guess. Now let's talk about the 5 special administrative provinces. They are Aceh, Yogyakarta, West Papua, and the capital Jakarta. Now, no surprise, the capital Jakarta acts as its own political entity. Lots of countries do that. But what about the others? First, Aceh. Aceh is kind of like the black sheep of Indonesia. It's the only province in which Sharia law is fully implemented. Also, they kind of have like a ton of oil, so yeah, they've kind of asserted a very independent ideology that sets them apart as autonomous from the rest of Indonesia. Then you have Yogyakarta, which is the only region that is still governed by a pre-colonial...
Bro, that looks insane. What is that?
Monarchy. The Sultan of Yogyakarta,
it looks like a scene from like a game or something.
Government. Otherwise, we get the 2 Papuas, which collectively used to be the province called Irian Jaya, but then in 2003 they got split into 2. Basically, this is the place that has the least in common with the rest of Indonesia. It has a culture and background closer to their cousins across the border in Papua New Guinea. So then why is this part of Indonesia? Well, long story short, Indonesia was basically like, well, now that we have our full sovereignty, we get everything that the Dutch colonized. The people of Papua were not too happy, so then Indonesia was like, all right, we'll give you a vote to stay or leave. However, we would strongly implore you to make the right decision. So they voted to stay in. A lot of people complained. There's still some current opposition, and to this day, the area has a relatively high level of autonomy, and the government kind of just leaves them alone, except for when it comes to mining for resources. Oh, and the South Maluku area also kind of has like an independence dispute thing kind of going on, but the major opponents to the Indonesian government are primarily based in the Netherlands. Then you have the strange Riau Islands, which look like they should belong to Malaysia, but they don't, even though they have a strong Malay-derived culture. Then you have the Ambalat Sea Block.
I'm actually mind blown at how stupid I was. I don't know why. I just assumed like I kind of knew that Malaysia wasn't in Africa, but I kind of thought it was right near it. but you know,
which has a ton
whatever.
of oil that both they and
I don't know
Malaysia
why.
argue over. So that essentially covers most of the administrative divisions of Indonesia. Some of the most notable spots of interest in Indonesia might include the National Monument and Museum, Royal Keraton Ngayogyakarta Palace, Ratu Boko, the Magelang and Chicken
Wait,
Museum,
did that have gods?
Royal Keraton Ngayogyakarta Palace, Ratu
Oh, they're statues. Oh, that's really cool, to be fair.
Boko, the Magelang and chicken-shaped
The
churches.
fuck is that?
Borobudur, disputed to be the largest.
Bro, is that... What is... That's insane. This is insane, bro.
Borobudur, disputed to be the largest Buddhist temple in the world.
It's a boot... Holy shit, bro. That's cool as fuck.
Palace, the Taman Sari Underground Mosque, the Equator Monument, the Pura Ulun Danu Bratan Lake Temples. Yeah, try to say that 5 times fast. Pura Ulun Danu the Batan Lake. The
Wait, hold on.
Batan
Pura Ulun Dana Bratan Lake Temples.
Lake Temples.
That looks beautiful.
5 times fast. Pura Ulun Danu the Batan Lake. The Millennium Bridge, the Sacred Monkey Temple, the Hellmouth.
Yo, why are we going so quick?
Danu the Batan Lake. The Millennium Bridge.
Bro, that looks sick as fuck.
The Sacred Monkey Temple, the Hellmouth
Oh my god.
or Elephant Cave, the 7-story pagoda of Cebu,
That's average.
smoked mummy villages of Aikim and
What the
Jiwika in
fuck?
Papua. Or if you're lazy, you can just go to the Taman Mini Indonesia Indah Park, which kind of has like a bunch of replicas of all the famed sites in Indonesia. Oh, and keep in mind, there's Dutch colonial style
That would
buildings
actually,
all over, too many
honestly,
ancient
nah, you don't want to go, like, if you ever went there, you don't want to go and see the replicas. You want to go and see the real thing that's actually got history behind. But, man, they look really fucking cool,
temples on
bro.
list to list. And no matter how many buildings
Really
and
nice.
landmarks are built, they will never compare to what Mother Nature has done. Which brings us to... Indonesia's land is like that one ex we all had back in our 20s that we trusted a stupid friend to hook us up with. Super attractive, but almost killed you a few times. Indonesia lies on
Why?
what is
Do they have a
labeled
lot
as
of
the
volcanoes?
prehistoric continental shelf known as Sundaland, which during the Ice Age times pretty much connected all of the islands together before the Wallace Line until the ice melted and filled in the gaps. Now this is where things get incredibly messed up. Not only is Indonesia right in the worst part of the Ring of Fire, but the country is basically smashed between 3 converging major continental plates. The Eurasian, the Pacific, and the Australian plates, with dozens of minor plates and rifts like the Sunda, Timor, Banda, Molucca, and so on. This in return gives Indonesia over 400 volcanoes, disputably more than any in the world, with over 150 active ones, making it the most volcanically active country in
Holy
the world as well.
fuck.
This means on a daily basis, Indonesia experiences on average about 4 earthquakes a day, ranging anywhere between the small, timid 3 to a noticeable 6 on the Richter scale. And you never know where or when they will happen. Impressive. Nonetheless, volcanoes can be a good thing, especially when concentrated close to the equator, as the warmer, humid climate allows moisture and minerals to coalesce, creating some of the most fertile land on the planet. This is why places like Hawaii and Iceland are so radically different despite both being volcanic islands. In the end, Indonesia got blessed with a flourishing abundance of flora and fauna, the second highest concentration in the world after Brazil, many of which being endemic species like the Rafflesia arnoldi and the Titan
What the
arum,
hell
the
is
largest
that?
flowers in the world, which each smell like rotting corpses.
Oh, wait, did they actually? Why does that look like sweet corn?
And at over 180, they also have the highest concentration of mammals out of anywhere in the world. Nonetheless, the national animal is actually a reptile, the largest in the world at 3 meters long, the famous Komodo dragon, which you can find a bunch of on Komodo Island, which is where they get their name from. And they can kill people. Just a heads up. And the surprisingly not national animal, even though everybody knows and loves them, the only great ape in Asia, orangutans, are only found on this archipelago as well. By the way,
That's
they look
cool.
docile and quiet, but orangutans can rip off your arm if you anger them. So don't. Otherwise, the largest mountain, Puncak Jaya, is located in the east in Papua. The longest river, the Kapuas, flows on Kalimantan or Borneo Island.
Wait, I thought Isn't Indonesia like a fucking continent? So why did he say country? Because there's so many different countries in Indonesia.
Starting in the east, emptying into the South China Sea. The largest lake, as well as the largest volcanic lake in the world, Lake Toba, can be found on Sumatra. This is also the site of the largest speculated volcanic explosive eruption on Earth that essentially created a worldwide volcanic winter. The eruption was so big that you could literally observe ashes from the explosion that went as far as Malawi in East Africa. Remember, guys, Mother Nature is beautiful, but if she wants, she can kill you. Close to Puncak Jaya is Grasberg, the largest gold and copper mine in the world. And on Mount Ijen on Java, which spews out blue lava, all over you can find...
Yo, I can't lie. There's a lot going on in this. Like, there's like, we see I watched the Germany one, Well, Indonesia's a lot bigger than Germany, but fuck me, like, there's a lot going on, bro.
Sulfur miners that literally go into the base of the volcanic craters, risking health just to get raw sulfur ores. Otherwise, you have other anomalies like the Sidoarjo mud volcanoes, the three-colored lake Kelimutu in Flores, and the Kakaban Island jelly.
Wait, no, honestly, we're going way too quick.
The three-colored.
What the actual fuck?
Lake
What?
Kelimutu in Flores.
But that looks insane. That actually looks. I'd rather go in this than this. But why is this green? What the fuck?
And the Kakaban Island Jellyfish Lake. Too many strange places. To this day, Indonesia is the #1 producer of palm oil, cloves, cinnamon, nutmeg, coconut, and vanilla. Some national dishes might include things like rendang, satay, or satay, gado-gado,
Yeah, I'd say
lontong,
satay.
ketupat, papeda, ikan bakar, pempek, tumpeng, lemang, and the national dish nasi goreng, which basically just
I have
means
no clue
fried
what any of
rice,
these
which has
is.
no exact recipe. You can mix it up and
apart from
kind of do
satay.
whatever you want to it. Oh, and keep in mind, Malaysia might argue that some of these dishes belong to them, but that's a whole other story tied in with history and culture. We got time. Why not talk about it? Now, there's a lot of curious mysteries when it comes to Indonesia's people. Like, how did they become predominantly Muslim? Or what's the whole deal with them in Malaysia? Or wait, this guy is considered an Indonesian? What? First of all, the country has about 263 million people, making it the 4th most populous country in the world.
Holy
with the largest
shit.
population of Muslims as well.
Yeah, he said country again. Wait, so Indonesia is a country? But like, the fuck? But we're talking about so many countries in Indonesia. Like, what the fuck?
Here's the thing. In a sense, yes, 95% of the population is considered native Indonesian. But that's an incredibly broad term, considering that Indonesia has about 300 different ethno-linguistic groups split.
Oh. I'm being stupid again. I'm not good with geography. So, basically, it's like America, right? United States. So, are the other countries, are they just states?
Up across all the island regions of the country. If you look at a map with the actual ethnic group breakdown, it kind of looks something like this. Nonetheless, the two largest parent ethnic groups are the Javanese that make up about 40%, the Sundanese that make up about 15%. Otherwise, the rest of the population is primarily made up of smaller groups and tribes that have only around 2 to 3% each, like the Batak, the Sulawesi, the Balinese, Minangkabau, Betawi, Papua,
Well, have I heard about the
and so on.
Balinese?
Finally, about 5% are non-indigenous Indonesians like Chinese,
And no, it's not because of fucking Balinese. I've heard of the Balinese.
Arabs, Indians, and even a few Europeans.
I don't know
They
why.
also use the Indonesian rupiah as their currency. They use the Type-C plug outlet, and they drive on the left side.
Isn't that the
They also use
Queen?
the Indonesian
Is it? No, it's not.
rupiah as their currency. They use the Type-C plug outlet, and they drive on the left side of the road. And here's where things get a little confusing. Culture and language. The one thing that kind of unites all Indonesians is that they share the national language Bahasa Indonesia, which means the Indonesian language. However, Bahasa Indonesia is actually kind of like a lingua franca to many of the people, as Indonesia is the world's largest trilingual country. In addition to Bahasa Indonesia, most people speak their own mother tongue as well as English. Yep, English. They caught on quick when they realized it was the money language. The funny thing is, even though the Javanese make up the largest people group, the Javanese language is not an official language. Technically, it could have been, but then that would have favored one people group over all the others, which would have caused tension, so they kind of had to choose like a neutral default. Plus, Javanese is like really hard to learn, and the original writing system, although very beautiful, is incredibly difficult
What
to
the
write. Javanese
actual
is like
fuck?
really hard to learn, and the original writing system, although
Bro, they all, other than like the Y's, kind of, they all, it just looks like U's and N's. What the fuck? I wonder if like English looks weird. Like this, you know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at this right now, and it literally looks just like U's and N's and M's. And the words don't even look spaced out. Do you know what I mean? Bro, it would be so cool to like, obviously, like, they don't even use this, so this is probably really hard, but like, I've always thought it'd be so cool to like learn like a language that kind of looks a lot different to like what you know, what you're used to. So like English, for example, learning fucking Mandarin would be so fucking cool, bro.
very beautiful is incredibly difficult to write. Nonetheless, at nearly 100 million speakers, this makes Javanese the largest non-official minority language in the world. And that's why the Bahasa Indonesia language is so strange. It's not even technically indigenous to Indonesia, but more Malay-derived. To this day, people who speak Bahasa Indonesia can understand somewhere around 60 to 70% of what their neighbors are saying in Malaysia. The biggest difference, though, would be the loan words, as Indonesia took quite a bit of influence from the Dutch back in colonial times. For example, kantor, Cantor versus Cantor. Doctor versus Doctor. Mantel, Mantel. Oma, Opa. Wortel, Wortel. Speaking of the Dutch, quick history lesson. Hindu kingdoms, Buddhist kingdoms, Islamic. Wortel, Wortel. Speaking of the Dutch, quick history lesson. Hindu.
Bro, honestly, the best thing about Indonesia is the fucking buildings and just like the places, bro. That's insane.
Kingdoms, Buddhist kingdoms, Islamic kingdoms. The Portuguese come in quickly, but then the Dutch flock in. Japan comes in for a couple of years and decimates a huge chunk of the population. Independence,
shit.
Republic, the Suharto years.
Controversial incidents and fights with ethnic Chinese, Timorese, and Papuan peoples. Suharto falls, Reformation period begins, and here we are today.
In Indonesia, all citizens are required to register under one of 6 recognized religion categories: Islam, Protestant, Catholic, Hindu, Buddhist, and Confucianism. If you don't identify with either, then sorry.
Wait, you have to? Wait, what the fuck is Confucianism? Is that like a religion where you don't, you're not religious? Yeah, I'm not religious, so I'm confused. Like, what the fuck is that?
To Islam entering around the 13th century, Indonesia was actually primarily Hindu and Buddhist. It's disputed.
Wait, what would you actually do then if you don't believe in a religion? Like, all seriousness. Obviously, confused is not where you go. Like, you don't say that if you're not religious, right? So if you're not religious and you want to get a passport, what do you just put Annie? Like, what the fuck?
Islam entering around the 13th century, Indonesia was actually primarily Hindu and Buddhist. It's disputed on how exactly Indonesia became prevalently Muslim. Some people will say that it's because of the Arab traders that came by in the early first millennium. Others will say that maybe it had to do with the Malacca Sultanate conquest that fought against the Hindu and Buddhist kingdoms. And the truth is, both might be right. Inevitably, Bali became like the last sort of haven for whatever Hindus were left. The eastern Nusa Tenggara region and the Papuas remained predominantly Christian as the
That building looks so out of place. That looks so weird.
Dutch and Portuguese shared the gospel. Islamic culture in Indonesia is a little different from what it looks like in the Middle East. For one, most mosques don't have the typical dome structure, and actually many of them resemble Hindu temples, like the Demak Great Mosque. When a family member dies, their relatives might often come together and pray for a whole week, and then again on the 40th day, and then on the year anniversary, and then on the 500th day, and so on. Also, the night before Eid al-Fitr, the youth might gather and go around neighborhoods reciting the takbir. Those are some things you don't really typically find in the Middle East. Clothing modesty customs are pretty loose. Not all Muslim women wear hijabs, however the ones that do might also complement it with Western clothing, like branded t-shirts with skin-tight sleeves and jeans. When I was in Indonesia, I saw a hijab-wearing woman with short sleeves and capri pants exposing her calves. I was like, can we do that? Now, in terms of culture, again, it depends on where you are, and many indigenous people still follow ancient traditions. Everything from the Minangkabau candle dance to the gamelan players of Yogyakarta, Wayang Javanese shadow puppetry, Balinese festivals, Sumatran pencak silat martial art tournaments, Kenya motif paintings of the Kalimantan tribes, the deadly Pasola game played by Sumba peoples, Karabeng cow race of the Kalimantan tribes, the deadly Pasola game.
Wait, is this actually deadly? Like they fucking kill each other or some shit?
Played by Sumba peoples, Karabeng cow racing on Madura Island, the strange burial traditions of the Toraja people.
What the fuck is that? That's not real dead, is it?
Karabeng cow racing on Madura Island, the strange burial traditions of the Toraja people.
Is that actually someone? Is that fake?
And everywhere you can find those pointy longhouses. Otherwise, some notable people of Indonesian descent might include people like the first president Sukarno, Gadamaja, R.A. Kartini, B.J. Habibie, Iko Uwais, Yayan Nuruhian, Sesep Arif Rahman, Agnes Monica, Iwan Fals, Anggun, Megawati Sukarno Putri, the Hartono brothers, and YouTubers Brian Emanuel and Raditya Dika. Now, it's so hard to cover Indonesia's
some
culture
YouTubers
because
made
there's
it.
so many different people groups, each with their own cultures. It's insanely colorful and rich. I wish we could cover more, but we gotta move on to some diplomatics, shall we? Okay,
bro,
so
I want to move on to more of the landscape and the buildings, bro, because honestly, they're really
like
fucking
the
cool.
kingpin of Southeast Asia with the largest population and economy, as well as being a member of the G20. Therefore, they know how to manage relations. First of all, the rest of the Muslim nations in the Middle East generally get along with Indonesia as they see them as kind of like their strange Asian cousins. Indonesians make up the largest group of pilgrims for the Hajj in Mecca. However, there has been some controversy with Saudi Arabia in regards to migrant worker abuse and death sentences. Since then, Indonesia dramatically decreased its expat programs. The US, the Netherlands, and...
Wait, it's Saudi Arabia and Indonesia, right? It just made out like it was. But I've known people from Saudi Arabia, they're like, yeah, I'm from Saudi Arabia, right? It's a country. But then he's been saying the whole time that Indonesia is a country. Hey, someone please explain this in the comments, because I'm a little bit lost with that.
Australia are kind of like their biggest non-Asian supporters. In addition to trade and business, the US played a huge role in Indonesia's independence, and they worked closely during Cold War times. The Netherlands still holds close ties to Indonesia despite post-colonial bitterness. Plus, tons of Indonesians live in the Netherlands. To this day, they have the second largest population of...
Oh. No, my bad. Saudi Arabia is friends with Indonesia.
with Saudi Arabia in regards to migrant worker abuse.
My bad. I was lost. I thought Indonesia was on left.
And death sentences. Since then, Indonesia dramatically decreased its expat programs. The US, the Netherlands, and Australia are kind of like their biggest non-Asian supporters. In addition to trade and business, the US played a huge role in Indonesia's independence, and they worked closely during Cold War times. The Netherlands still holds close ties to Indonesia despite post-colonial bitterness. Plus, tons of Indonesians live in the Netherlands. To this day, they have the second largest population of Indonesians outside of Indonesia after Malaysia at nearly 2 million. Australia
oh my
gives some
god,
of
what the
most aid
fuck?
to Indonesia, especially after catastrophe incidents. And even though there are some controversies involving immigration and attacks on Australians abroad, they still share close ties generally. Now, Indonesia and Malaysia are kind of like the Colombia and Venezuela of Southeast Asia. They're like the twins separated at birth and have a strange love-hate relationship. Malays accuse Indonesians of stealing their culture and language. Indonesians accuse them of not being grateful for all their help during war times. But when they actually meet up as people, it's like they're totally brothers. Nonetheless, most Indonesians I talked to have said Japan is probably their best friend, which is funny because Japan kind of really messed things up during World War II. Nonetheless, they've moved on, and today Japan makes up the largest export partner. Tourists flock in year-round, and the two have been building each other up for over half a century. In conclusion, Indonesia's people are very much like their islands, numerous with lush, colorful, strange diversity. Sometimes a cyclone, earthquake, or volcano of controversy erupts, but at the end of the day, they still flourish together as one. Stay tuned, Iran.
Hey, let's go. That was actually a really good video. I learned a lot, to be fair. Someone really does need to explain the country situation with Indonesia, because that's that's confused the hell out of me. I'm really bad with geography and shit, so I didn't even know before this. But honestly, really good video. Really dope country. Beautiful as well. So really enjoyed that video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it too. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If I got anything wrong or whatnot. If you're also from Indonesia as well, let me know what it's like. And if you got any videos you want to recommend for me to watch, link them down in the comment section below. And I'll see you all in the next video.